So I kind of called this presentation Content by the Sea because I want to talk about three essentials of content marketing. And historically, I would say that 95% of the clients that we have today are missing the very first element of Content by the Sea, which is strategy. When I've looked at B2B in the past, along with many other verticals that we've talked about, marketing content is really what most B2B clients have today. But it's all about the company, it's all about your products, it's all about the services, it's about the features and selling points and specs. All of those things are very necessary to the funnel. But what is missing across the board when I look at B2B websites is journalistic content. In today's world, things are changing so fast, and if you think about B2B buyers, and you all know that Google says it's at least 27 touches, and obviously buying teams and sales teams are, there's multiple people who are making decisions. Adding journalistic content to the marketing content for a brand is, I think, critical for your success going forward. It's different, as I said, in that it's an audience-first approach, not a brand-first approach, not a product-first approach, not a sales-first approach. It's an audience-first approach. And storytelling is a key element of that audience-first content. So in terms of content strategy development, these are the components. This is how do you put together a plan? We then go through a content audit process. In this particular case, we analyzed 11 editors, reviewed over 700 pieces of content. We also then interviewed their five key audiences that they're focusing on as a brand, and then 27 internal stakeholder groups who all wanted to talk about what kind of content do we need as a sales team in this particular line of business or this particular line of business or in this service discipline. And then we developed from there, as part of the strategy, the content pillars. And in this case, as I mentioned, as a financial services company, for their commercial or their enterprise business customer, what we identified were, as you see in gray, are the five most important areas of content that your customers are looking for. So these become the content pillars, along with the other five that are on here as secondary opportunities to create content marketing. Obviously, things will change, but you come out of this with an idea of what your content marketing is going to look like for the next 3 years and where you see opportunities with your competition and where you can make immediate improvements to your own content marketing. And then we go into how is the content going to be produced. And here in this case are the pillars across the top for their enterprise division, their enterprise customer division, domestic and international banking, treasury management, and then below it, major areas of content opportunities that we saw from talking to both their customers and from their internal stakeholders. The next side is the execution side. And as I said earlier, omnichannel is the way you have to think about content going forward. And one of the big areas that brands make a mistake on, and I see it over and over again in the B2B space, is, again, creating content for a single use, for a single place. We talk about atomization all the time. When we create a content calendar and a content plan, we say, okay, we're going to produce an article, we're going to go out and talk to some customers, we're going to get some interviews, we're going to do an SME with the client. So we're going to have this pool of content. Now, what are the 6, 12, 15 ways we can use that content in different formats, in different channels over the course of the next 60 or 90 days so that that content isn't just going out there and sitting there one time. It's being distributed and coming out in formats that might be appealing to different customers. And then finally, I'll talk a little bit about amplification. Obviously, we talked a little about SEO, but it's critical to have an SEO plan built into your content strategy. You need to be able to bring audience to the doorsteps. Sometimes you have to use that center column, which is amplification, with a paid program or other means, obviously, in terms of native advertising or social media or your e-newsletter program, those types of pieces. But what you want is as much natural and organic traffic as you can possibly get.